Okay, hi everyone. We are going to be sharing our forecast feature for this month, all about amenities that create value. I'd love to start off by sharing why amenities that create value. Why is that what we wanted to focus on for this month's forecast feature? We've really found that this so-called amenities arms race, which is a term that we did not coin, but we've seen it around, and we really do think that it makes a lot of sense, has led us to this place where this current approach to these multifamily amenities is really no longer sustainable. Not sustainable from both a financial and an operational standpoint. And this whole idea of keeping up with the Joneses, all of these so-called box checking amenities is really also, aside from being unsustainable from that financial, from that operational perspective, it's also not serving the end needs of this evolving renter. We really feel that both multifamily residents and developers alike are seeking amenities that truly create value, which is of course the name of our forecast, but that create value through this localized feel, helping residents that we've found are really time poor gain hours back in their day and elevate that authentic brand story, whatever that story may be. Additionally, we feel that as we enter this post-2020 era, we're really embracing the spirit of a clean slate by designing amenities that are truly value creating, that speak to that target audience, and again, really speak to and drive home that authentic brand story. Here on our consumer profile page, we're really focusing sort of a different way here this month, where we're looking at our consumer as both the end user renter and also the operator. We found that both operations teams and the multifamily renter are really seeking these optimized amenities, this optimized approach to amenities that prioritizes the lifestyle needs of the renter while also prioritizing operational ease. We have a statistic here that 29% of renters list seeking better community amenities as their primary reason for moving to a different rental community. So in order for us to really retain that renter, we want to make sure that our amenities that we are offering give true value. A few other ideas that we've incorporated onto this page through our research is that time-poor renters, overextended operations teams are really looking for time-saving or even outsourced solutions to amenities. And of course, like we've been saying over and over, but they're truly seeking those value-creating amenities that go beyond box checking. Here is our what's in and what's out page. And as with our past features, everything covered in what's in and what's out, we will go through in detail throughout the rest of the presentation. But to really highlight what we're looking at here is on the what's in side, really looking at amenities that reduce that operational strain. And as far as what's out, we want to really remove things that are just box checking, that we're just throwing in as an amenity because the community across the street has it. So to get things kicked off, we're going to talk about packages. It's always the elephant in the room, so we're going to get it out of the way early on in this presentation today. We really do feel that this conversation is so prevalent. We have it so often. We've devoted a ton of research talking to industry experts about this whole package situation. And from that research, we really think that a good approach, especially responding to the current market, is to take this hybrid approach of having both a package locker system as well as a room. We have a few statistics here. 31% of renters would pay up to $10 extra per month if it were easier to retrieve packages. Just a side note, side story, but I recently toured a community a couple months ago, and the leasing team told me that the package situation in this community was so bad that renters were actually taking out a PO box at the local post office rather than having their packages shipped to the community. We've all been to the post office, so we know that that's sort of an extreme response when you would rather go to the post office than deal with searching for and finding your package within your own community, under the own roof that you live under. So we all know that this is a massive, massive struggle that we're looking for solutions for. And we do think that this hybrid approach is a really solid solution. So this model, to explain it a bit further, the courier delivers as many packages as they can into the package locker system. And then the package room, is used for overflow and also oversized packages. The cold storage refrigerators would also be stored within the package room. And we really found that this system works best if the third-party package management company also assists from an operational perspective to funnel the packages from the overflow room back into the lockers as space within the lockers frees up. We do know that there are a few companies who are actively doing that. Okay, so page 2 on packages. We are also a fan of the idea of package delivery directly to the unit. We know that there are a few companies currently doing this, Fetch being a popular solution. And for anyone who's not familiar, the way that Fetch or any of these third-party package delivery to unit companies work is that they're essentially a courier service that will receive the packages, the residence packages, into their own warehouse, and then they deliver them to each unit. So the residents actually change their address to the address of the third-party warehouse, and they can actually interact with that company via app to schedule their delivery times and take care of other details like that. So we think that this is a great solution. However, we do think that it's important to sort of have a backup plan alongside designing for using Fetch, because if Fetch or any of these similar courier services ever end service, they go out of business, they end service in that geographic region, we want to be able to retrofit a space within the multifamily to be used as a package locker or room system if that would ever happen. From sort of a future forecast perspective, we're really excited about this idea of having sort of this entry vestibule to the unit that can be used for package delivery straight to the unit. So that concept is pictured in that upper left image, and it's just a concept image, but the idea here is that there would be sort of this entry system, 2-door, where couriers could have access via smart lock or some sort of entry to just that first door. They won't be able to access the second door into the actual unit. So it's still secure, residents can still feel safe and secure, but this entry vestibule is used to deliver packages too. In order to take more advantage of that square footage that we're giving up to this sort of package function, we're thinking that it could be used for other things. For example, valet trash could be serviced out of that vestibule as well. Okay, moving beyond our package discussion, we're really excited about the idea of bottle filling. We think that this is an amenity that really speaks to that well-centric resident and that zero waste sort of amenity that speaks to environmental concerns and sustainability, which we know is just a value that is ever increasing for residents. We love this idea of the bottle filling stations actually being on each floor, not just in the amenity area, so that it's truly becomes really functional on the path of residents entering the elevator, entering stairs, and going home, leaving their unit, so that it becomes part of that day, that sort of daily ritual. We've done a bit of research, talked to some experts on this as well, and we know that it's actually not a huge expense to put these in, even on each floor. And we think that it's something that would really pay off in terms of value for residents. Along the same sort of sustainability storyline is the idea of a zero waste refill station. This is an amenity that we're really not seeing anywhere, so we're excited about the innovation aspect of it. And again, this speaks to that well-centric, sustainable audience. And the way it would work is the community would have a few commercial-sized bulk refill containers, and they could be filled with common home or body care products like shampoo or hand soap or multi-purpose cleaner, dish soap, and residents take their own container. So when they run out of a product, they can refill their existing container from the bulk refill station. That saves a container, so they're refilling from bulk, so it's not contributing to plastic waste, And it's also just a huge time saver convenience for residents to have one thing that they don't need to add to their grocery list. And we suggest to partner with a local zero waste or sustainability shop in order to facilitate this, or alternatively, to fill these containers with really low cost basic items like baking soda or vinegar that can be bought in bulk, having them available for residents to fill up. Those things can be used for cleaning and they're very low cost and something that we think would be a low cost and easy to maintain, not an operational strain. So as we're talking about some of these ideas and things to add to these amenity spaces, we want to discuss this idea of, we're kind of coining it as a shift in leasing. As we're seeing more of this move towards self-guided virtual leasing, there's even more of a reason to consider eliminating the leasing office and really bringing that square footage back into the amenity areas. By doing this, not only do you gain square footage, but the leasing agents are free to work alongside the residents in those kind of co-work zones, which helps to break down that barrier between the leasing agents and the residents, leading to better relationship with the community and better service ultimately. As we're discussing these amenity areas, we're really excited about the future potential of these leasable spaces. So we know this is not necessarily a new idea. It's something that we've been designing for a while and we've seen for a while, but we think that these spaces are only becoming more valuable as working from home and flexible working becomes our everyday experience. These spaces, we would love to make them as multi-use, multi-purpose as possible. So especially for some of these leasable conference rooms, we really see them, or leasable offices, we see them doubling as what we're kind of calling content creation rooms. So the idea here is that they can be used for podcasting or creating videos, creating marketing materials, making them really multi-purpose. We also think that these leasable event spaces offer a lot of value to residents. It allows them to host large gatherings that they're not able to host within the limited square footage of their unit. We think that in order to create even more value, designing these spaces to be really beautiful, really functional, and even creating sort of a branding moment around these spaces, having them feel like you're entering into a separate, almost retail-like space, just adds so much value. We see this as potentially even being income generating, especially if these spaces are open to not only the residents within the community, but actually the general public. We think that's a really interesting idea. We've toyed around with perhaps these spaces are available at no cost to residents, but maybe there is a cost associated for the general public to come in and use these spaces as well. That creates a little bit of that vibrancy and really engagement with the community that helps to root this multifamily community in the community at large and really being a part of sort of the fabric of the day-to-day lives of the whole neighborhood. In order to really facilitate these leasable spaces, we love the idea of incorporating room managers. This allows anyone with access to reserve any of these conference rooms or any leasable spaces, micro offices, even individual desks or workstations can be connected to these room managers and then they can be reserved. So once the user is at these reserved stations, they have access to control lighting, AV equipment if they're in sort of a smart conference room. And we think that this is an amenity that truly does serve both the operations and the residents. Leasing agents are free to do their main job and to serve the community. They're not spending so much time managing these rooms, who's there, reserving bookings. And then it gives residents control over knowing when these spaces are free and knowing that they can plan on using them at certain times that they are actually able to reserve it. Another great perk of these room managers is if these spaces are being open to the general public, then it's another layer that leasing agents don't need to manage because the general public is also able to book and even pay over these room managers. Another way that we love to create multi-purpose use for any of these spaces, even any of these reservable spaces we've been talking about, is by speaking to again, that sort of well-centric wellness resident by flexing these into meditation pods. So this is something that can be applied to a micro office or even a phone booth to do sort of double duty as this meditation pod. So you don't need to only use these sort of soundproof spaces for taking phone calls, but they can really be these distraction-free zones for people to pursue mindfulness. And these secondary uses can be communicated via signage. It's something that can be expressed on the leasing tour, and residents really realize that there is another use for these spaces and one that can really facilitate wellness. A side note that we have on this page is the little bubble on the right side is the Resonate chair. This is a brand new product that we're sort of keeping an eye on. They're calling it the Peloton of meditation. So intriguing tagline that they've given it, but it combines this sort of vibrational technology that calms your nervous system with this audio visual component as well. So really intriguing product that we're keeping an eye on for these wellness spaces. Here is an amenity that we're excited about called Preso. So this is an instant dry cleaning vending kiosk. And we're excited about this because we think that this instant dry cleaning is sort of the next evolution of the dry cleaning locker that we've all come to know and love. And we're excited about this product because it's brand new. The first one was actually installed in multifamily 2 weeks ago in Atlanta. It's been installed at Broadstone, Upper West Side. So if anyone's in Atlanta, swing by that community and check it out. The way that it works is it has a touch screen. So the user is able to operate themselves via the touch screen. And there is a pay per use option. Of course, it can be set to complimentary mode as well. So whatever system works best for the community and the pricing structure. There's actually also an option for the community to even generate income from this as well. All of the cleaning cycles take 5 minutes or less. So the resident simply pops in their item and they just sort of hang around for a few minutes while they're waiting. They grab their item and they're done. There's a bit of a sustainability story here as well. The Preso uses 97% less electricity than traditional dry cleaning. And then, of course, this just speaks to that value creation that we've been talking so much about. Residents are able to pop down, do dry clean an item in 5 minutes or less. They can be back in their unit in under 10 minutes. When even with the locker, there's a bit more planning. You have to say, oh, when am I planning to wear this? Let me put it in the locker, when it's going to be picked up. And just knowing how busy our residents are, how busy all of our lives are, we can all relate to this. Being able to know that you can dry clean and have an item ready, especially for when it's dry cleaning, it's usually for a specific event. It's one less thing to worry about. So we love the value creation add from Preso. We've talked a lot about share lockers, these rental lockers being such a great operational solution to the gear share libraries that have been so inspired by the sharing economy movement. Whether these sharing closets are featuring kitchen equipment or perhaps outdoor gear share, these rental lockers are just great to help manage and to maintain these gear libraries, taking all of that strain off of the operations team. There's a few that seem to be market leaders right now, Brevi, Tulu, and Ballbox. So we just think this is a great operational solution to those gear share libraries. Vending Bean is a craft coffee vending solution that we're really excited about. We've been hearing and sort of seeing that those commercial Starbucks machines that have really become that multifamily standard are getting a little bit tired, becoming a little bit, we've been hearing a lot of operational concerns about them as well. They're not super exciting amenity anymore. And so we're really looking for the next evolution of that in coffee. And we think that Vending Bean is a really exciting option. Their coffee is truly craft coffee. So it's not just that instant coffee feel. And we know how important coffee and the interest in craft coffee is to sort of this modern renter. And with Vending Bean, it really is that barista quality. And so this machine also comes in a pay per cup or a complimentary mode. We've heard mixed things from the developers, but we've heard that in some cases, the coffee story has become a bit of a financial strain depending on the cost structure. However, this can also be set to complementary mode. So not to worry if that is not the case for you. We think that this is a really cool, exciting, innovative, and truly modern tech forward vending option that can really help to solve for that kind of tired Starbucks commercial machine that we've been seeing everywhere for so long. In that world of vending kiosks and smart vending, we're starting to see a lot of these fresh vending, so the refrigerated vending solutions popping up. One company that we've been keeping an eye on is called Sesame, and they have a product that is fresh vending, it's refrigerated, and it is powered by an AI smart fridge. So the thing about this that makes it feel really technologically advanced and cool is that you can open the fridge, take items out, look at them, see what you're feeling, read the ingredients, and you can put it back and you won't get charged for it. So you're only really being charged for the items that you take and that you take away. It's completely cashless, so very sleek user interface. And the intriguing thing for multifamily and the opportunity for us here is that the way that their business model works is through a network of nationwide entrepreneurs. So an entrepreneur will buy a fridge, they are fully responsible to stock it and maintain it, manage all of the back end, manage the inventory. And what these people are doing is looking for a high traffic space to put the fridge. So multifamily is a perfect spot for that. And it's typically at no cost to the property. All they need to do is provide the physical space. So it's a great way for multifamily to offer this fresh, local, convenient vending with zero overhead. These companies, there's a few of them out. Sesame, we think, is a really exciting one. We especially love the look of their fridge. It's matte black. It feels very sleek. These are all brand new startup companies. They're still in that early phase. So we're definitely keeping an eye on them and think that there's a lot of potential here for the future of vending, and especially that fresh, healthy vending. Operable windows, we think, are an exciting, well-centric amenity that's really seen, I'm sure many on the call are familiar, but have become more important post-2020. So it's a little bit of a response to that, but also it's a little bit of future-proofing as we look forward, because we're really seeing this sort of rise in this air quality monitoring. So there's so many new products out there for air quality monitoring. They're mounted on the wall. Some of them are even portable, the little devices that you can carry around with you to constantly check the air around you. One product, we featured it here because we think it's really fun. It's called Canary. It's that bubble in the upper right. But this is sort of a soft tech design approach we really love. No blinking lights, not another smart meter telling you what to do with your day, but the bird you see is up like this, and when the air quality is bad, the bird flips down. So it's a little reference to Canary in a coal mine. We think the design is really fun, but we're seeing these air quality monitors pop up everywhere. So having the ability to open the windows, bring fresh air in, we think will be a great response to 2020 and also a way to future-proof for everyone carrying around these air quality monitors. Recycling, we are so excited to have done a good amount of research on recycling, specifically in multifamily. We found that the recycling rates in multifamily are only at about 14%. And within that 14%, what is recycled? There's actually higher levels of non-recyclables that are found at your typical single family residence. So we're really seeing that this is the recycling is an amenity, and it is something that residents are asking for. We've talked about through the rest of this presentation, but sustainability, environmental concerns are becoming even more valuable to renters as we move forward and as this conversation becomes more important. So really figuring out the solution to recycling in multifamily, we think will be so key, and we think it's time. We have a statistic here, 75% of America's waste is recyclable, and we in this country only recycle about 30% of it. We know that 52% of Americans live in multifamily homes. So if we're really able to solve for this recycling in multifamily as an industry, it has the potential to have this huge impact on the national recycling rates. some ways that we can make recycling, really try to get these percentages up, is by making garbage and recycling equally accessible. So anytime there's a garbage container, having a recycling container right next to it is a key way to really move these rates up, move that recycling rate up. If there's a garbage chute, have a recycling chute. If concierge trash is offered, offer concierge recycling, these kinds of ideas. And then of course, to take it a step further, it's important to communicate which items are accepted in recycling. So this can be communicated via signage, digital communication, but really exciting. And we think that this is an initiative that we, as designers, as developers in multifamily, can really take on. Okay, we're excited to share this idea about ghost kitchens. So a ghost kitchen is a kitchen space that's often shared among multiple restaurants who prepare food for delivery only. So oftentimes these ghost kitchens are actually full restaurants that don't even have a physical space that you can dine in. They exist purely on the apps, purely for delivery. So we think it'd be a really innovative, exciting idea to consider carving out space for an on-site ghost kitchen. This would be an amazing amenity to residents because the food would be prepared under the same roof they live in. So delivery would be super fast. This could be communicated to residents as an additional perk for free delivery for residents. Maybe they get 20% off the food as well. However, this ghost kitchen could serve the greater community as well. We think that it can be taken a step further by actually creating these property branded ghost kitchen restaurants that go with the branding and speak to the story of the entire property. And of course, this could be income, revenue generating, and serving that greater community, really making the multifamily community feel part of that local neighborhood by bringing a local authentic food option to the neighborhood as well. And on the same concept of food and kitchens, we know that it's such a community builder, food being such a community builder. We really like the idea of this incubator kitchen. We're really imagining this as being like a maker space for cooking or for baking. So what an incubator kitchen is a commercially rated space that can be rented out. And these are often used by pop-up restaurants, catering companies, or even side hustle chefs, side hustle bakers who are just looking for a space to prep or to cook or to bake. So we think that this could be such a fun twist on the traditional maker space, as well as being something that's revenue generating that could be even open up to the general public to rent space here, while really bringing sort of that vibrancy to the community. Okay, so that concludes our presentation today on amenities that create value. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We will be sending out the recording following this call, and there will also be a link to this deck as well, which you can view in your web browser or you can download it. So thank you all so much for your time, and it was really exciting to share all about amenities that create value with you today.